Hello everyone and welcome to another Tuesday edition of Rough Edit. I'm Connor Wood, and since Father's Day was a couple days ago, I think I should talk about my top 5 favorite fathers in film history. Now this is my personal favorite list. If you do not agree with it, comment below and I would love to hear your thoughts and your personal top 5 list on your favorite fathers in film. Before we start, let's go through a few honorable mentions that I had. First off, Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, playing Cooper. I think he did such a great job with that role, personally. It was nice to see him in a Christopher Nolan film, and Interstellar is one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films. It's just a great film. I experienced it in IMAX, and it was one of the most stunning experiences I've ever seen, and it was just amazing. Next, I have Marlin from Finding Nemo. Couldn't put it on the list in the top 5, but he's such a great father in that film. Obviously, it revolves around him trying to find his son Nemo, who he lost, and it's just a great journey. You follow Marlin and Dory, and it's great. Albert Brooks did a fantastic job with voicing the character, and I love that Pixar film. Next up, Ethan Hawke from Boyhood. I think that he did such a great job with that role as well as the other ones I mentioned, and he also got nominated for Best Supporting Actor, so it was really awesome to see him get nominated for that role because I thought he did such a great job with it. Next up, I have Hugh Jackman in Prisoners. Prisoners is a 2013 film directed by Denis Villeneuve, who directed Enemy, Sicario. It's some great indie films, and this one is just, he knocks out of the park. Hugh Jackman is amazing in this film, one of the best performances I've ever seen recently, and it just, you see the desperate measures that this character goes through after his daughter goes missing, and he does anything to try to get her back, and it is a phenomenal film. I highly recommend it. I have to put George McFly on the honorable mentions list. Of course, on Jacob's list, it would be like number 1 because he is the ultimate Back to the Future fan. But George McFly, he's a great character. Love Crispin Glover. So yeah, I couldn't put him on my top 5 list, but I could definitely put him in my honorable mentions. Closing out the honorable mentions list is Brad Pitt from The Tree of Life, playing Mr. O'Brien of this family in the 1950s, and it's just, The Tree of Life is one of those movies where it just visually, it is incredible. Terrence Malick directed the film, and a lot of people hate his movies, a lot of people love his movies. I love his movies from the ones I've seen, and it's just a phenomenal film. Brad Pitt plays the father of the family, like I said, and he does such a great job playing this stern character. And it's an incredible film, anchored by one of the performances in the film, and that is Brad Pitt playing the father. It's just a great film. Highly recommend that too. Now let's get into my top 5 list. At number 5, I have Steve Zissou, played brilliantly by Bill Murray from the film The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. This is my favorite Wes Anderson film, and it's so imaginative, like all of his other films, and it is completely led by Steve Zissou, the titular character, and it revolves around him and his struggling life to be kind of this oceanographer slash filmmaker, and it's just a great journey that the two of them have throughout the film that just skyrockets it through the roof, other than any other Wes Anderson film I've seen, and it's just a great film. Steve Zissou is such a great character, I feel like, and I can almost relate to him. Not that I'm a father, but just the stuff that he does throughout the film. It's such a great movie as well. I highly recommend that. Steve Zissou, played by Bill Murray. It's actually my favorite Bill Murray performance from that great actor. Coming in at number 4, we have Mr. Incredible, or Bob Parr, voiced by Craig T. Nelson, and Mr. Incredible is just a great character. I love The Incredibles. It's my favorite animated film, my favorite Pixar film as well, and it's such a good character because, you know, he's this cubicle worker by day almost, and then he's struggling to manage his family as well, and also he's a superhero, so it's a great film as well, and revolving on this family of superheroes who try to struggle with normal life outside of the suit, and it's a great performance, great voice acting by Craig T. Nelson, voicing Mr. Incredible or Bob Parr. Love that movie, love that performance. Coming in at number 3, we have Henry Jones from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, played by Sean Connery, the Sean Connery, and I love this movie. It is my favorite of the Indiana Jones trilogy, and Sean Connery is the comedic relief of the film, and it's such a funny performance, but also a very heartfelt performance as he and Indiana Jones, his son, are kind of like almost going across the globe, almost like any other Indiana Jones film, and Henry Jones Jr. That's all I have to say. That was a bad impression. Coming in at number 2, I have Darth Vader. I could have put him at number 1, but he is such a fantastic villain as well as a father. Spoiler alert. I mean, in that moment in Empire Strikes Back, when he tells Luke, no, I am your father. It's such a great, great scene. One of the best scenes of film history, and Darth Vader is Luke's father, and it's just such an emotional scene that it just pushes it up to number 2 on my list. Great father, I guess. Yeah, Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, I don't want to talk about those movies, but yeah, Darth Vader, number 2, great father character. Yeah. And now it is time for my number 1 favorite father film character. Now for this list I didn't really choose the most fatherly characters, just my favorite characters that are actually fathers. And number 1, I have to go with my favorite horror film, The Shining. Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson gives one of the best performances I have ever seen out of an actor in this film, playing this tormented, possessed father of this family of 3, and they go up to caretake this hotel in the middle of nowhere in the winter, and it is just a terrifying film, one of my favorite films of all time, easily in my top 5 favorite films of all time. And the film follows Jack Torrance, and I think that's why I love it so much, is that it follows this character who, is just demented person, who is just terrible and not fatherly at all. I mean, sometimes in the film he is fatherly, but not for the right reasons. He's just such a terrible-minded character, but he has motives, and it's just so interesting to watch, and that's why I have him at my number 1 on this list. And he's just such a creepy character, but you love him for some reason. He's a lovable character, but he's terrifying. I've never seen that before in any film ever. It's great. It really is just one of the best performances I've ever seen. Alright, well, that's my list of my top 5 favorite film fathers. Comment below, let me know what you thought of my list, and put yours down in the comments below. Bye, guys.